How are you doing?
Great.
Good.
It's quite a challenge to tell my story after these lovely ladies.
Well, this
to
is
make
it.
taxes and accounting interesting.
Okay, but look, people love taxes.
Yeah,
It's
sure
one of the
they-
most commonly spoken things about in Croatia.
I like, and I hope that I will tell my story, and you will see why I like them.
But seriously, like everyone's talking about them. You always see them with a sad face, maybe tears
Yes,
coming out.
cheers.
Julia. Yeah. So now you spoil what you do. I was actually going to pretend something and like slowly bring in the taxes, the finances in. But yeah, you're a tax expert.
I'm accounting expert, and my colleague is a tax expert.
Where's our tax expert?
Zoja
Oh, over there.
Dora.
Okay, good.
Say hello
Excellent,
to
good.
everybody.
Who's hiding over
Yeah,
there?
yeah.
Okay, good. But that means that if you do have a questions on taxes later, then we can always bring her into the fold.
Yes.
Okay, so first question that I wanted to discuss, and this is a chat, right? So it's
Okay.
going to be loose.
Okay.
It's going to be easy. We can go off topic. We can talk about whether Hajduk's going to beat Dinamo at the weekend.
Better to talk
We're not gonna
about
talk about that?
accounting and taxes.
Okay, let's stick to accounting. But at the moment, okay, let's come back to that. Okay, so at our previous meetup, we did have a lawyer, and they're also supposedly dry and boring, but that went down very well. So I'm expecting more of the same today. But what makes a good accountant? What makes a good tax advisor? Because who here has an accountant? Just one person. Oh my God! What are the rest of it? Oh, we have a few accountants. Okay, good. Good. Okay. Well, I won't ask the next question. Then it's not anonymous enough. Has anyone ever been to a tax advisor? Okay, a few people. We know they're the millionaires, hiding their taxes. So what makes a good accountant or tax advisor?
I would say like in every business that you love what you do. For me, it's a passion for numbers, for helping people solve their problems, and just to have a good company while doing that. So making a good tax or accounting specialist is like being an expert and educate yourself. You need to have a good software or solution that will help you deal with the numbers, but also it's a constantly educating because there are a lot of tax changes. So you need to have a passion for doing that.
How many changes coming up?
Don't ask. Now there is a tax reform, so now nine tax laws will be changed.
Lower taxes.
No, they are introducing it as a lower taxes, but it's negotiable. Are they lower or not? So for someone there will be lower, but for others there will be higher taxes.
Okay. And is there like a question you can ask an accountant to see whether they're up to date with stuff? Because when you have your company, then you have to find an accountant, and it's tough. It is tough. Because there's a lot of cowboys out there, and then you meet one or you meet two through recommendations.
Yes.
Is there something you can ask or check? Is there like a code or a trick question?
That is a trick question. I really don't deal with how to say. Our accounting community is not very strong like IT community, but I would suggest to ask questions that it's part of your business and to have some answers, but also to be aware that you as a business owner need to educate yourself about your stuff.
Okay.
So you have to be prepared about what you will ask and get some tiny details, some tips, see how he or she is reacting on your questions. Also, we usually are very open to our clients. We say, okay, we don't know this, but we will try to find out everything that you need. So there are a lot of specialists, but how to say, you can just see how they are working. Is this type of person familiar with you? Do you see that he or she is? Do you trust him when he's speaking? Like in every business, I would say.
Yeah. Although if you screw up with your money, you end up either going to jail or bankrupt.
Yeah.
Whereas if you screw up with your football coach, you just won't play for Hajduk.
Yes.
So
Yes,
there are bigger
yeah,
bigger
yeah,
stakes.
yeah.
And so how much should these guys, how much should entrepreneurs know about accounting generally?
But I think that they needs to know about their business. I think that their accounting specialist or tax specialist needs them to answer the questions, but they need to know what to ask.
Okay.
They need to present themselves. They need to know at the beginning what will they do, how they will operate, and then the tax expert will help them to choose the best business model or the best tax system and optimize their business.
Okay, good. So, kind of, would you say there are any, in your experience, any people that come who don't know anything about?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes, there are.
What do you tell them when they come along?
Yes, but we educate them.
Okay.
Yes, we start with what is VAT.
Okay.
We start with the company taxes. We start with employment. We start with everything. But it's better to come before starting a company so that you know your options. After you start and make your business model or make your tax system and everything, it's hard to optimize everything.
Okay.
It's hard to make it different because there are some limits in doing that. So it's better to I would recommend everybody before starting a business to educate themselves, to go to find out, to see what are their options, whether they want to be sole traders or they want to start a company, are they in the VAT system or outside the scope of VAT. Everything matters, so it's better to educate before and then set up a model and start a company.
Okay, I'm going to shift us now towards a specific company, because I think obviously in accounting you have so many different companies you can deal with, and accounting's so different whether you're just a service-based person, whether you run a cafe, whether you're someone running Seek and Hit, right? So let's focus on startups, because this is the Startups Meetup, and let's focus on someone that's just selling like software, so they don't have any hardware. So with that in mind, have you got any tips on kind of what their first step should be? So they've got a great idea, they've started selling illegally, Nacerno, obviously that's the best way to start. It is the best way to start.
Yes, it's the best way.
And now they're ready for you, yeah? So what kind of things would you say about starting up? Like PDV, that's a huge one, right? People are always scared of PDV because it's plus 25%. However, if their plan is in the next 3 months to be all over Croatia, in the next 6 months to be across Europe, and in 2 years or 3 years be global, what would you say to them?
Yes, it's a good question, but it's like, I can tell you that there are a lot of questions regarding VAT that need to be considered. For example, first of all, you need to know whether you are dealing or whether your customers are private person or other businesses. Also, you have to tell us the nature of your business. You said like software, but there can be some services that have some specific tax rules, like dealing with buildings or tourism or something like that. And also, it's not the same if you are working with firms abroad or people abroad or within the Croatia. But the general rule is not to be afraid of VAT. You should avoid going into the scope of VAT only if you are dealing or your customers are private person. Because when you enter the VAT, your service price will be 25% higher from them. For other businesses, it doesn't matter. They can deduct your PDV as you put it on your invoice.
And what's the threshold for next year for PDV? When do you have to enter the system?
About 40,000 euros.
40,000 euros,
Yeah.
which isn't too big, to be honest with
No,
you.
it's not. Yeah.
Because if you have 2 salaries,
Yes.
you're already getting up there, right?
Yes.
So would it be better for them to be into PDV straight away, or
Yes.
yeah?
Yes, because at the beginning of your business, you are investing. You are buying your equipment. You are buying, I don't know, something bigger for starting your business. So if you are going immediately into VAT, scope of VAT, you can immediately deduct the VAT from your incoming invoices, yes, from your invoice for equipment, you can deduct and ask government to give you back this 25%.
Okay.
Yes.
And also a lot of people love to do the switch. They start with an obert, a pauschalny obert, like a lump sum obert, and then they jump into a company. Is that something that's recommended, tax-wise, accounting-wise? If you have that idea, I'm a startup, I've got this amazing software, and I'm going to go global in 3 years.
In 3 years. It's just personal, what you are afraid of. First of all, these obert sole traders are better for starting a business, for some freelancers or something like that, because taxation is lower and it's much less complicated than in the firms. But you need to be aware of cash limits, what you said, 40,000 is also cash limit for this pauschalny that we say. And also you have to be aware that, and avoid the situation where your sole trading business can be looked up like covered employment.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very common tax problem now. And if you are having a bigger picture, if you are looking in like 3 or 5 years maybe from now, I would recommend you to start the firm immediately, because you can easily sell your shares than in obert. Obert is as you own. And also you can make partnerships easier, you can invest, and also there are less, legal obligations from you as a person than in obert.
Okay, yeah. Less liability.
Yes, less liability, because when you're obert, you are obligated with your whole assets, private assets.
Yeah, so it's better to be an obert when you're young and have no assets.
Yes.
And then as soon as you start owning stuff, game over.
Yes.
Okay, cool. And obviously, startups love an exit, right? Their goal is in the future to sell their company,
Yes.
To make their millions or billions. I don't know.
Yes.
That's the dream.
Yes.
So I don't know if this is your expertise, but can we talk a bit about taxes around that?
We can talk about business valuation if you want to talk about this.
Yeah, sure.
Yes. So I'm not doing the business valuation, but I know a few things about that. So first of all, when you are selling your company shares, everything, you need to be aware of how much you worth, how much money can you get for your company. So there is a specialists that do business valuation, and we have like 3 approaches of that valuation. First one is asset approach, where you define your value around assets that you have, like buildings or some equipment or something like that. Second one is income approach, where you define your value regarding your future cash flows, future incomes. And the third one is market approach, where you find like similar company that have a value on the market and try to compare your value regarding that company. Okay. So you first need to know your value to start buying out process.
Okay. And is that something, you mentioned earlier, before starting a company, you should reach out, get advice and stuff, before selling your company?
Yes.
And how long before selling your company?
In the process of selling, you can have a business valuation for your own purposes, just to know if you are like over optimistic about your value, but also you can have for a negotiation for your future partners or buyouts or something like that. And when you are selling your company, you are selling the shares. So you have to be aware of your personal taxation when selling those shares.
Okay. Just want to touch also, you mentioned earlier you deal with some foreigners that have opened companies here. Is anyone here not Croatian? Okay, good. Okay, so let's focus on the Croatians. How many Croatians come to you and say, should I open a company abroad? And what advice do you give to them? Because obviously you're not an accountant in other countries, I'm guessing.
I usually give them all the same advice. Find accountant there to know the taxations and everything there, but be aware of your tax residency.
Okay.
Where should you pay your taxes? Where should you pay your social and health security
As a person.
Yeah. So first of all, you need to deal with that and then starting a company. Because if you are Croatian tax resident, Dora can tell you more about this, but if you're a Croatian tax resident, it's your income from abroad.
Okay.
So you have to be careful how it's taxed and everything about that.
Okay. And is the grass greener in other countries? Are taxes, and we're not talking about just about your individual contributions, right? Because we know they're high, and we know PDV is high, but a lot of people say taxes in Croatia are ridiculously high, but most of those people are employees. They're not business owners. So is the grass greener in other countries when it comes to taxes as a business owner? We think of profit tax, we think of dividend tax, those kind of things.
Yes, I think that there are some parts that there is the grass is greener outside of our country. First of all, there are a lot of tax changes, so you cannot predict what will be next year. If there will be increase or in taxes. We don't know because we are just introduced with another tax reform. So there is no tax stability. So there is. But in company taxes, I think that there is a part that they can be improved, but that they are lower than in other countries in Europe.
Okay. And these tax reforms this year are because there's an election next year and Plenky wants to stay in power, or?
Yes, I think
Yes.
that is. I don't want to be political.
It's not being political, is it?
Yes, but these are just cosmetic reforms.
Okay.
Yeah, it's that there will be much complication regarding payroll calculation, salary calculation, and we will not see that so much in our budget.
Okay.
So it's like cosmetic reforms, I would say. We have to inform all our clients about these reforms and how they impact on their businesses. So we have to be a hand of a government, but we cannot impact on government and say our thinkings and our what we suggest in that times. Yeah.
Cool. And you said we.
Yeah.
So can you tell us a bit about your company, what you do? Because we've got loads of potential clients here since we only have 2 people with accountants.
Yeah, we are Kancelarija for tax consulting. My colleague is a certified tax consultant, so she's dealing with taxes. I'm more with this accounting stuffs, but we like to be known as paperless accounting. Is it possible? Yes, it is, because we work in a cloud. So our clients don't bring us their documents. They just upload it in our cloud system, and they have a real-time access to their financial statements. So it's modern way of thinking in this accounting services. I have to say that we started a campaign. It's called Nemoj da te poreže, don't let it cut you. It's a wordplay with the taxes and cutting and everything. So we would like to inform business owners about taxes in general and about tax reform. But also we would like them to be aware that it's in their interest to have a real-time review of their financial statements so they can make quick business decisions. Okay. Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, we're going to stop there because I think that might be pizza.
Great. Saved by the pizza.
No, thank you very much. Thanks for sharing so much information with us. Again, if you need an accountant, you have specific questions. Yeah. These questions are covering a whole load of bases and you need that specific advice. So speak to Zoja now. She'll be here with pizza and beer. Am I right? You've still got to finish your arafavats as well.
Let's finish it quickly.
Let's finish it quickly.
Let's finish. Yeah.